Shab, thank you very much for joining me as usual. We love to have a good debate on this, don't we? Listen, these numbers are not good news for the government today. This is a government that's pledged to take to lower the use of hotels in Britain, which looks less and less likely. They have managed to get them down, but of course we all know what the end result is these migrants are going to HMOs. They're not leaving the country, as we can see from the data. Actually, they are Albanians are the ones being returned, Romanians are the ones being returned. Actually, people coming here from places like Afghanistan and Iraq are not necessarily being returned. Why is that, Shahab Khan?
Hi. I mean, just really quickly on the hotel situation then. Obviously, like you're saying, and that's what I've been saying for the past few days, obviously people, seem to be considering the High Court judgment to be some sort of, or the injunction to be some sort of victory, or they're celebrating it, but I'm not sure what the difference is going to make, because obviously we're not going to make these people homeless, but hopefully, and so obviously we're just going to be accommodating them somewhere else, and they're actually going to be within the community, even closer to the community. Not that, to me, that's a bad thing, but just for the many people, celebrating, oh, they're not in our local hotel anymore. Well, they are going to be somewhere in the community, in some cities, in some towns. So that's one thing. But in terms of the numbers, well, I mean, I don't think it's a surprise. The point is, what has this government done to bring the numbers down? But we've got the, stop the boats became smash the gangs. Just, equally pointless, equally silly, just more rhetoric, just more sloganeering, but nothing there. Every time the government finds any extra, a few £100 million going spare, we just throw it at France in the hope they might come up with some plan. They just keep taking our money, not doing anything. So, I mean, have they come up with a single solution that, that gave any of us any hope, thinking, okay, they might bring their numbers down? So, of course, the numbers are keep going to go up.
Dr. Khan, I think we can definitely both agree on that last point there. I think it's been a pretty abysmal failure from the government. I want to ask you, though, about this asylum seeker situation here, because we're talking about HMOs. You're saying you don't think it'll be a bad thing to have these people in the community, but there'll be people up and down the country today really, really worried now that they're going to have people move into their street. They have no idea who they are. They don't even know if they've got a criminal record or not. They're worried for their children's safety. And of course, as well, they'll be thinking, well, actually, there'll be some people who live next door to them who might have sky-high rents they're paying, record-level taxes, while people moving into HMOs might be getting discounted beach huts like they do in Portsmouth. I mean, do you appreciate that as a concern by many people up and down Britain?
Sorry, I mean, the first point you made, I know that's a point everyone makes, but to be honest, I've never really understood. I mean, of course, unless, there are communities around the country that are much, much closer than I'm used to. But anytime anyone moves into my neighborhood, how many times do you know where they've come from, what their background is? Do we carry out DBS, CRB checks on them? We have no idea. Anyone who comes, my next door neighbor, if he's got 5 tenants in there, I have no idea who's there.
But Dr. Khan, there's a big difference. But hang on, because there's a big difference between someone being invited here legally through our system who has gone through those checks to get to Britain and somebody who hasn't, right? So you're talking about people who might be criminals, who've come over to the country abusing the illegal, the asylum system, who actually might not have those vetted checks that a legal migrant would have done, that someone perhaps living next door to you would have done. So I think when we talk about this issue, I think we shouldn't undermine the fact that people are worried about their safety because they don't know who these people are. We don't know who they are. The government's not even doing. The government's not even taking their DNA at the start of them being invited into the country that we found out. So how would we know if they are criminals and if they commit a crime?
No, I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, even taking the DNA, that's a very invasive, intimate thing that you're asking for. I'm not sure what point that would. What the point of that would be anyway, other than the government just has all our DNA samples. I don't really see the point. But other than that, I mean, I know you're saying, but I mean, I think, the public or people who don't work in the system, I think you grossly overestimate the checks and balances that go on, even when it's a legal immigrant. So, you think people who come here on visit visas, students, work permits, even spouse visas, what kind of checks get taken there? You think, the government takes the DNA, or there's
no, they can't come to the country if they've committed a crime, Dr. Khan. I mean, I'm sure that's pretty much part of the visa system. Am I not wrong? Am I wrong? You can correct me if I am.
I'm not sure that criminal background checks is part of most visa categories. I mean, I might be wrong. I'm happy to be corrected by you. But I don't think the government routinely carries out background checks or criminal record checks on people who want to come here legally. So legally or illegally, I don't think that makes much of a difference.